Fellas, how's it going? Ladies, oh my god, I am so glad to see you. What's up guys, it's Carney. Today I'm going to talk about why I, as a musician, have decided to kind of give up on TikTok as a way to promote my music. I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Everybody's on TikTok, everybody's saying I should be on TikTok, and yes, everybody is saying that, but for me, I have decided it's kind of not worth it anymore, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have a lot of reasons. I've written it down here, and hopefully it's good information that you will be happy you've heard, even if you don't agree with me. So before I start, I just want to talk about, number one, why you should listen to me in the first place. No matter where you go on social media, I know there's always a lot of people kind of peddling information based on credibility that they don't have. So here are the reasons I think that you could trust my opinion on TikTok. I have 12,000 followers on TikTok. I amassed that over about a year. I would say it was late 2020 to mid to late 2021 I got to that number. And I had a couple different sort of series that I would do that had consistent viewership, that I saw a lot of the same people commenting on, that it was consistent. It wasn't just like I had this one really big video pop off and that got me there and then I never had any success beyond that. The other reason that I would say you could trust me is, this is just me being earnest here, music is kind of the biggest measure I have for progress in my life right now. I really don't have a lot else going on personally that I care as much about as I do trying to get my music out there and trying to just make good music, etc. So I really am trying to find the best possible way for me to make music, promote music, and eventually make a living by making music. I think about this a lot, and I swear I would not say any of this if I didn't have real opinions that I have thought through. And I want to say this before I get into the points. This is a very important part of it. I'm not saying TikTok is a bad option to promote your music. I am saying with pretty big certainty that it is not a sustainable option. And that's really where a lot of this is going to come in. So without further ado, let's jump into my reasons. Number one, the deal. Carney, what do you mean by the deal? Well, let me tell you. Every content platform has a deal that it has with its creators. It is the level of consistency that you have to uphold to be looked on favorably by the platform's algorithm. The deal on TikTok is complete insanity. The deal there is that you have to post at least one time a day. And even if we're just sticking to that one time a day, it's not exactly apples to apples, but you remember what happened to all those daily vloggers back like 10 years ago on YouTube. One time a day, it like ruined all of their lives. So even if you shrink that down to like a 15-second to 60-second video every day, it's still a lot. And that's the minimum. You're supposed to post like 3 to 5 times a day. And you're supposed to do it within like a hyper-specific niche to like really do TikTok correctly. And on top of all of that, it has to be good. This is gonna be a reoccurring theme that I bring up a lot in this video because a lot of people are like, I make so much content, I do all this stuff, why isn't anything working for me? And a lot of people don't wanna say this, but the real answer is because the stuff that they make is not good. But the reason I'm talking about all this with TikTok is that even if you do make good stuff, it's not necessarily going to work for you. We'll get more into that later, but talking about sort of the consistency and the unsustainability of posting every day, let me bring up one of my favorite TikTok content creators. Her name's Ellie Dixon. She's fantastic. Her music's great. Her content's great. She's awesome. You should go follow her. She posts pretty regularly, which I am very impressed by, but I also think being a musician is her full-time job, so I think it's easier for her to do that than it is for maybe me, who works full-time at Trader Joe's, or for some random other person who works full-time doing something else to carve out that time in a day. But the content that she makes is not just her talking into her camera on her phone. It's very obviously like filmed quality on a camera like I'm filming on now. She's recording into a DAW, mixing it independently, editing the video independently, publishing it all independently. She's not doing it every day, and she's not doing it more than once a day, definitely. But she's making all this content outside of the TikTok app. That takes a lot of time. Let's just imagine what I just said. You film the video and maybe you're recording as you film into your DAW or something like that. You film the video, you record, you have to mix the audio, you have to master the audio maybe. You have to go into your editing software. Now you have to edit the video. Then you have to export everything correctly. You have to make sure that it's all the different dimensions correctly if you're gonna cross-platform post it. Let's just imagine that only takes 3 hours. A lot of times it'll take more than that, but let's imagine it only takes 3 hours. That's a long time. It's a lot of time and energy to create content that is being used to promote music that also takes a lot of time and energy to make. Another part of the deal that I don't like on TikTok is it leads to a lot of similarity. And a lot of that can be good. It's one of the reasons that as a user, I like TikTok a lot. I love seeing trends. I love seeing different people's takes on a trend, and some of the funniest stuff I have seen on the internet in a very long time has come on TikTok with people responding to some trending sound. But I think we've all seen this if you're on TikTok, where a trend is really funny for like 2 or 3 days, and then for the next week after that, it's just so annoying because it's a bunch of people making these really half-baked, half-assed versions of the funny joke that started the trend, hoping that it will somehow go viral so that they can get clicks and followers and blah blah blah, like all that stuff. If you are going to make actual fans of you as an artist and of your music, the people need to like you, and they need to want to watch you, not just your version of what everybody else is doing. And finally, kind of on the same point of having to like make similar stuff and niching down, what I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't want to make the same thing over and over again. I see a lot of people who do that, and it looks miserable. TikTok strategy is all just about like finding this like hyper niche thing that no one else could make and just sticking to it and posting like 3-4 times a day about it. I make indie rock. I don't think I could even conceive of 3 different indie rock related content things that I could make in one day, let alone a week, let alone a month, let alone in perpetuity. So when I was having that growth on TikTok, I really was kind of just doing whatever I wanted, and it worked for me to a certain point. But eventually the algorithm kind of niched me down on its own, which leads me to the next part that I don't like about TikTok, the algorithm. So speaking on the algorithm, I don't think I'm gonna say what I think you think I'm gonna say. What I think you think I'm gonna say is I can put all this time and effort into a video and I can post consistently and the algorithm still won't show my video to anybody. And that's true, but it gets worse. Even if you have a lot of followers, the algorithm will still play games with you. I have a friend named Joseph Dubay. He's on TikTok as Emo Joseph, and he's fantastic. He is tailor-made for this platform. He has hundreds of thousands of followers, and he is objectively good at TikTok. And a couple months ago, I remember just going to his page and seeing, and he even talked about it on like his mutuals, that all of his videos for a period of weeks were capping out at like a few hundred to like 1,000, maybe 2,000 views. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. So not only will the algorithm not push out to new people, it won't even necessarily make sure you get in front of the people who already follow you. The TikTok algorithm does its job very well. It puts something new in front of its users every 5 seconds that they know they will like, and it dangles just enough success to creators to keep them going and make them keep killing themselves making so much content because they had like one taste of that success and they want to try to get it again. Unless you're at the top of the mountain, like Addison Rae, and she's not even TikTok famous anymore, she's just famous now. Unless you are at that level, there really is no security on TikTok. When I hit 10,000 followers, was I happy and proud of myself? Yeah, of course I was, but I wasn't really relieved at all because I knew the next 10 was going to be just as hard. Okay, moving on to the next point. I think I might catch some crap for this, but I really am telling the truth based off my experience. My next problem with TikTok is the fans. The followers you get on TikTok are not generally the types of people who are gonna like you so much that they go listen to your music after they watch your videos. This is gonna sound brutal, but it's the truth. If you post one chorus of like one of your most personal songs and it kind of pops off and you get like 1,000 followers, for some of those people, you will be someone that they really felt they connected with through art and music and the emotions you were conveying, and they will go listen to your music, and that's awesome. But for most of them, you are gonna be someone who slightly impressed them, and you're like the 20th person they followed that day. And they never even check their following tab anyway. They don't care about you. And it's not in like a mean way. They don't have to care about you. That's just kind of the nature of what following someone on TikTok means. It's not the same as what subscribing to someone on YouTube's in 2009 meant. That's just the deal that TikTok has made with users. And there's nothing wrong with them just adhering to that deal that was made to them. I was on TikTok for over a year. I posted all the time. I think I could name you maybe 10 people who weren't friends of mine that I would see like every video, comment on every video, and really engage. And I had 10,000 followers. And I'm not bitter or anything, that's totally fine, but I'm just saying, like, just having a big number of followers or likes or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that you're making all these fans that are just gonna follow you through everything you do. One of the biggest pieces of advice people give TikTok creators is to get their fans off TikTok as soon as possible. There's a reason for that. Users go on Twitch and YouTube to spend large amounts of time watching long-form content because that is what those platforms reward, and it's a cyclical thing. You saw it happen as YouTube continued to grow. More people wanted longer content, so they started rewarding creators who made longer content. I feel like I'm dating myself here, but if you've been on YouTube as long as I have, you remember when the whole 10-minute thing happened. Everyone was trying to make it to 10 minutes long on their videos because I can't remember exactly what it was. You had to reach some monetization thing or some type of like organic reach thing or something, but YouTube started rewarding anyone who posted for 10 minutes or longer. People go on TikTok to see as many things they like as possible in as small amount of a time as they can. That is what they want. That is what TikTok rewards creators for doing, and the cycle continues just in a different way on that platform. And it's not impossible to make an impression on people in that small amount of time and get them to like you and like your music, but it is a lot harder than it is on other platforms. So those are the ends of my like negatives on TikTok and why I'm not super gung-ho about posting all the time like I was a little while ago. But I also want to include some positives because I want to make sure people know I'm talking about how I don't think TikTok is sustainable as an artist to create a business for yourself or a living for yourself or however you want to put it. But I don't think it's a bad platform. I like TikTok a lot. I like it as a user, it just burned me out as a creator. I also learned a lot about making content from being on TikTok. It helped me to understand how there's different kinds of motivations for creators to create different types of content, and in turn, there's different types of motivations for users when they come to watch your videos. I think TikTok is super fun. I think it's super funny. I think there's a lot of interesting things for users as far as that whole hyper niche stuff comes in. It's just hard as a creator to keep up with that. But as a user, yeah, I love seeing a random like Sly Cooper video show up that nobody else will ever see, but I see it because they know that I love Sly Cooper. If you hear everything I just said and you're still like, nope, I'm making TikToks, that's where I'm supposed to be, that's where everyone's telling me I'm supposed to be, let me give you some advice. And I'm not talking about those like BS marketing pages like, oh, well, you gotta like do these hashtags and blah, blah, blah. Like, here are some actual tips that would help you succeed on TikTok that helped me when I was doing it. Number one, try to optimize your videos to make people watch as much of it as possible. You're not gonna get everybody to watch the whole thing, so don't worry about that. Worry about getting them to watch the first 5 seconds and then just staying for the next 5. And then staying for the next 5. The algorithm looks at watch time, and the longer people stay, the better. You basically need to clickbait your audience within the first 2 seconds of the video because you can't do it with a thumbnail. Give them a reason to stay that is completely obvious. Number 2, the biggest thing that I have seen gets videos shown to more people is comments. Specifically, comment threads with users interacting with each other. If TikTok sees users interacting with each other, mentioning each other, commenting to each other, it knows that the video is making people dig a little bit deeper, and it's gonna make them open the app more because they're gonna get even more notifications that so-and-so responded to your comment, blah, blah, blah. And the easiest way to do that, unfortunately, is to start a fight. I'm not saying you have to fight people in the comments. I do, because I think it's fun. But you don't have to. You basically just need to make content that you know people will disagree with enough to voice their opinions, and then you can let them fight each other in there. But if you're like me, and you see someone say something stupid, and you're not afraid to say something back, then yeah, you can get in there too, and you will speed the process along a little bit. And I should mention, when I get in the comments, I try to like make people laugh and stuff. I'm not just like saying mean things to people. But I'm definitely not trying to cool the flames either. Like, if someone comes in kind of disrespectfully and is like,
oh, well, like, this is stupid because, like, this doesn't sound the way you're saying it sounds or whatever.
You could go in and be like,
hey, thanks for sharing your opinion. I'll keep it in mind for the next one.
and then it'll just be done. You also could go in and be like,
You're an idiot. Get off my page.
I try to meet in the middle and just say something funny where I am making it known that I think this person is wrong, but I'm not outright being a jackass. Actually, let me rephrase that. I am being a jackass, but I'm not being an asshole. Hopefully that makes sense. Number 3, TikTok really likes authenticity. And from what I've seen, that comes in 2 forms. It comes in no budget quality and super high budget quality. Option 1 is like those random videos of like some guy playing an emo song in his car at night, and he has like the little light on, and it's just, he clearly just like put up his phone and he's just like playing an original super raw lyrics, and it just pops off. I actually think that's why emo has done so well on TikTok. Everyone on there is depressed and disillusioned, and I think they just like seeing someone else feeling the same way that they are. They just like seeing something real. Option number 2 is making stuff kind of like Ellie Dixon that I was talking about before. A lot of prep goes into those videos, but that's earnest in its own way. It's not like when a brand tries to make like user-generated content and it's just so obviously fake, but they're trying to like get you to believe that it's actually just this person filming themselves, and it's just so fake, and it makes all of us feel like that these brands think we're stupid, and we're not. But if you just make something that's really high quality, and you don't make any illusion about the fact that that's what you're doing, people respect that. Again, just make sure that whichever one you do, that it's good. And the last one is simple. I feel like this kind of goes for all content platforms, but I've heard it a lot on TikTok, and it does seem like it works. Just tell people what to do. They won't mind. You're not stepping on anybody's toes. If it makes sense for your content, obviously, if it is really out of place, then don't do it. But just like ask them to follow you at the end, or ask them to comment something, or whatever. If you make a video that's about like how to play something on guitar and you say like, follow me for more tips like this, no one's gonna be mad at that. For me, I had this series called like How to Write a Blank Song, where I would just try to thoughtfully write a song that sounded a lot like a band I liked. And at the end of every single one, I would go, let me know what I should do next. And I think that's a big reason why that series did well, because I think the content was good. And at the end of every video, I made sure people knew I was gonna make more and they could have a say in what I made. Okay, in conclusion, TikTok is flawed, but so is everything else. I'm not trying to write off this entire platform. Like I said, I do like it. I've seen it work for a lot of other people. I've just seen that most of those successes, especially for musicians, it's kind of a lot of luck involved. And that doesn't mean their success doesn't count, but it does mean that you can't count on what made them successful. You should find a platform that speaks to you. For me, I grew up loving YouTube. I loved the platform for creativity that it was. And it's different now, but I still love it in its own way. If the type of content you see on TikTok really lights your fire and speaks to you artistically, then you should do that. For me, I think about what I think I'm good at. I think I can write funny stuff. I think I know how to react to crowds when I play for them, because that's, you know, I played in a bunch of cover bands. And I think after teaching music for 5 years, I'm pretty good at like getting a point across. And to me, that points me towards maybe YouTube and maybe Twitch as platforms that can maximize me and what I'm good at. And I plan to look into those more. You just gotta find stuff that is cool to you. Like when I watch a Kenny Beats live stream where he's just cooking up in the studio, just making a beat, I think that is so friggin' cool. And I'm like, I would love to do that. When I see one of those TikToks that's just like, all right, let's write a Tame Impala song. First thing, we need some bass. And then it's just like the guy playing bass for 2 seconds. And he's like, all right, now let's do some drums. And it's just like him playing drums on his MIDI keyboard. Like that doesn't look fun to make. And it's really not even that fun for me to watch. When I made that How to Write a Blank Song series, I just did it with an acoustic guitar, and it was kind of also just like a writing challenge for me, so that was what was fun for me. But yeah, my biggest advice, just as someone who watches a lot of content and has ever since YouTube came around and kind of created this world of content creators, you just be yourself. I know it's super corny, but it really is the only way to really succeed as an independent artist. Sure, there are like industry plants that get pushed to the top and it's not fair, whatever. Yeah, it's been going on for decades. You have to just get over it. As far as being an independent artist, this is on you to figure it out for yourself. And it's so corny, but there's only one you. People don't want to see another anyone else. And I know nobody wants to hear this, but it's better to have 1,000 people who really like you than to have 1,000,000 people who kind of have heard of you one time. If you make music and content consistently for a year and do it on a platform that speaks to you and you're really authentic and it's good, that's an important thing. If it is good, you will be so much further along at the end of that year than you were when you started. And the same thing if you do it again the next year. Some of the best advice I have ever heard for making content and trying to get yourself out there was from a guy named Nigel Bajos. I hope I said his name right. He makes filmmaking content. He's great. If you're into any filmmaking stuff, please go watch him over there. He talked about how one year he said, by the end of this year, I'm gonna have 10,000 subscribers, I think. Maybe it's 100,000 or something, I don't know. But he made a goal based on other people's choices, and it didn't work. He didn't reach that goal. The next year, he said, I am going to make 100 filmmaking videos. Something he could control and something that he could do authentically, not worrying about what anyone else was gonna think about it. And he reached the goal for the previous year that he didn't meet the year he was trying to do that. Whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or even like Instagram or something, I don't know. Just be as you as possible, and I promise you will get further than you will following what everybody else is doing. If you're on TikTok because you like it, because you like the content you see made, because you like making content for it, amazing. Go for it. But if you're on TikTok just because everyone told you to be there, because record labels who don't know how TikTok works, by the way, told all their artists to be there because some people had success on it, it's not gonna work. Be authentic, keep making music, and make sure that it's all good. So if you have any thoughts on this, I genuinely would love to hear them. I'm not just trying to get comments for the engagement of the video, though that would be nice. But yeah, the world of content I think is very interesting, and I know that this is not a take that is out there as much. Hopefully you got something out of this video, whether you are still gonna do TikTok as much as possible, or you're like, yeah, I've kind of been wanting a reason to not do it anymore, whatever. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, I hope this helped you to conceptualize as a musician or as any other type of artist, if you're not a musician but you're here anyway, things you can do for your art when you're trying to promote it, etc. So yeah, if you guys like what you saw here, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stay sexy out there. Fellas, you have a great day, and say something nice to the ladies on the way out.